Welcome to college basketball. The madness of March about to sweep right through the Ivy League. We are in Princeton, New Jersey for tonight's Ivy League matchup between Princeton and Harvard. Princeton trying to wrap up an undefeated regular conference season this weekend. First, they got to take care of Harvard. It was a 1-point win last month, and here we go, set to tip it off here in Princeton.
Now, Matt, Harvard runs motion offense with a lot of late clock ball screens. Princeton's ball screen defense needs to be really efficient today.
Harvard starting 4 freshmen. Their starting lineup with 1 senior in Siani Chambers, who has the ball right now. There's Towns, kicks it out to Bassey, unable to connect, and Princeton rebounds. Princeton has the upperclassmen here with a few seniors in their starting lineup and a couple of sophomores.
Well, Princeton starts 3 seniors, 2 sophomores, and you're looking at Harvard, Tommy Amaker's group, starting 4 freshmen. But you know what, Matt? Really talented young guys.
There's Devin Kennedy driving in, drawing some contact, and he will go to the charity stripe. Devin Kennedy, the sophomore, out of the state of Indiana, averaging nearly 14 points a game to lead all scorers.
Amazing. He is a great shooter, confident. How Princeton wins game 1 when Kennedy goes 0 for 8 from the field and 0 for 5 from threes is another story in itself. Mitch Henderson told us yesterday, I don't know how we won with this guy not making a field goal.
He connects on the first free throw. Kennedy, a 92% free throw shooter, and showing why. 2 for 2 here in the early going. The Tigers, again, trying to improve to 13-0 in conference play with a 2-0 lead on the rival Crimson.
You're seeing a lot of ball movement, motion offense by Harvard.
There's Justin Bassey, the freshman out of Denver, Colorado, connecting on the 3. Graduated from Colorado Academy as the all-time leading scorer there. And he's on the board right now.
Now, Matt, you got to guard the three-point line because Princeton, 47% of their field goal attempts are from behind the line. Nice take right there by Miles Stevens.
Miles Stevens, the sophomore, able to connect there. Princeton up by a point. Thank you, guys. Welcome, everyone, to Princeton, New Jersey, as we are just underway. Harvard with a 6-4 lead in this Ivy League matchup, a rematch of a game last month that Princeton won by 1 in Cambridge, and that one came down to the final seconds as Harvard came up just short.
And Matt, we have 2 teams here with completely different type of rosters. You have Princeton starting 3 seniors and 2 sophomores, and you have the Crimson of Harvard starting 4 freshmen. Tommy Amaker with a young team.
And one of those freshmen, Bryce Aiken, unable to connect on that 3-point attempt. Harvard still with a 2-point edge. Again, there you see the Princeton starting lineup with 3 seniors and 2 sophomores. Harvard going with 4 freshmen and a senior. And for Princeton there, Pete Miller, one of the 3 seniors in the starting lineup, will go to the line. There's Mitch Henderson in his 6th season with Princeton. If the name sounds familiar to the casual basketball fan, that means you've been paying attention. He was a critical part of the last time Princeton won an NCAA tournament game back in 1998. He was instrumental in that win against UNLV.
He was terrific in that game, Matt. Had 19 points as Princeton took down UNLV 69-57. Bill Carmody, his head coach in 98 when that game was won, he was a vital part of the win.
I'll show you some of that a little bit later on. Pete Miller connects there, and key foul issue right now, just a few minutes into this game. Chris Lewis has picked up 2 fouls, the freshman for Harvard. So Zena Edosimwan is already in the game to replace him. Number 4 for Harvard.
Well, that's the thing with this Harvard team. They have a lot of depth. Tommy Amaker really develops his bench. And Edosimwan, the senior, he's played tons and tons of minutes for Tommy Amaker.
Seth Towns can really stretch you from the outside. He hits the 3, averages 12 a game, second leading scorer on this team.
Now, Matt, Princeton, 47% of their field goal attempts are threes, so it's imperative Harvard guard the three-point line. 10th most in the nation.
Spencer Weiss kicks that one out. Unable to connect from the outside was Amir Bell, but there the three-point shot is good for Harvard, and that's Chambers, and Harvard doubling up the Tigers right now.
Well, one of the things Princeton's game plan coming into the game was transition defense. Nobody stopped the ball. Siani Chambers, a fifth-year senior, which is rare in this league for Harvard.
Harvard has made 4 field goals, all of them from beyond the arc.
That's Princeton. That's what Princeton's supposed to do, make threes.
Was Gladson from the outside, unable to connect, and here comes the Crimson. Again, Siani Chambers.
Really good ball screen defense by Princeton, and they wrap up the possession with the block out. Princeton's ball screen defense has to be really efficient today, because at the end of all shot clocks, that's what Harvard goes to.
Weiss unable to connect there. He gets fouled. Harvard on a 6-0 run. When we return, the game will continue over on ESPNU. It's Ivy League action from Princeton. If this matchup is anything like the previous matchup last month, Dino Gaudio, we're in for a good one.
The first one was a great one, Matt. Princeton ended up going up 13 with 15 minutes to play. Harvard roared back, and this is the biggest sequence of the game. Miles Stevens driving layup to cut it to 1, could tie it, the miss. Stephen Cook, the offensive rebound and a putback. In essence, a 4-point play. Last-ditch effort by Harvard. The home run play, and I'll tell you, they got a pretty good look right there, but it doesn't go.
Corey Johnson unable to connect there. Princeton gets the win, and they are still undefeated in conference play. Harvard in second. Now, if this were a year ago at this time, Princeton would pretty much be, well, they're the Ivy League champs. They're going to get in as long as they win one of these last 2 games this weekend, and they'll be the NCAA tournament representative from the Ivy League. However, this is the first year the Ivy League is instituting a conference tournament taking place next week at the Palestra. So the drama isn't about 1 or 2, truly. It's about who's 3, who's going to be 4.
Hey, Matt, on the graphic we just showed, sitting there before the weekend, Penn is in the 4th spot. So how about if Princeton has to go to the Palestra and their first tournament game is against Penn on Penn's home court? Wow.
Those kind of things can happen. And it could happen coming up next weekend. But Princeton will worry about that after this weekend. Travel call there, turnover, and Princeton will regain possession. Harvard Crimson, coached by Tommy Amaker in his 10th season, hired back in 2007. We talked to him this week. Said, Tommy, what would you have said if someone told you 10 years ago you will be at Harvard for 10 years? And he said, I'd say I'm pretty lucky.
And he is.
And he's pretty good, too.
He's a darn good coach, but and what he's done at one of the great academic institutions in America is amazing. Now, there's a 3 from Princeton, and you know what, Matt? That is their first, but that's what Princeton does. They 47% of their attempts are threes. Miles Stevens with a big 3 from the left wing.
Miles Stevens with the 3, and right there, that'll be a foul. Alec Brennan picking up that foul for Princeton.
Now, you see Harvard on offense. They run the old Mike Krzyzewski motion offense where guys are reading screens. But the biggest thing with this offense is the ball always goes from one side of the floor to the other. They make the defense move. And we saw as soon as the ball went into Edosamwan, they tried doubling the post. Princeton
Chambers unable to get that pass through, and here's Weiss kicking it out to Amir Bell, who will kick it out to Kennedy, who is unable to connect from 3. Tip there from Stevens, but collected by Justin Bassey. Here comes Crimson.
There you go. It's always the second pass out of the double team that gets you the shot.
And there's Corey Johnson. Corey Johnson, the player who missed that three at the buzzer to give Harvard the win, connects from there. And Harvard now with their 5th three-pointer. Do some quick math. 5 times 3 is 15. All 5 of their field goal attempts have come from beyond the three-point line. And that's why they're shooting 63% from 3. There's Stevens from 3, and we have officially begun a three-point shooting contest in the Ivy League.
You know what, Matt? I'm not sure Harvard wants to get in a three-point shooting contest with Princeton. They are so proficient from behind the three-point line. Off to a good start for Harvard, but you don't want to get in a shootout with those guys.
That was a nice pass there. Adosimwan found a cutting Seth Towns, who turns that one over. Coming up Saturday, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow on ESPN. It's the rematch from Chapel Hill. Number 17 Duke and number 5 North Carolina to close out the regular season. The Blue Devils won that thriller at Cameron Indoor, 86-78 last month. The Sonic Blockbuster also streaming live on the ESPN app. Watch ESPN app. You had Grayson Allen with 25 points, 7 threes. Last time they met up. We'll see what happens at the other end of Tobacco Row. That ball nearly going out of bounds. Harvard connects there, leading by 1 about 7 minutes into this one in Princeton, New Jersey.
In that first game, Matt, Duke outscores Carolina 39-12 from behind the three-point line. That's a big thing for Carolina, guarding the line. I'll tell you what Duke did well in that game. They kept Carolina out of transition. They only had 5 fast break points. And we know Carolina's all over the offensive backboard. They lead the nation in second shots. Held North Carolina to 7 offensive rebounds. So be interesting to see how Coach Williams for Carolina adjusts in game 2.
Had turnovers on 3 straight possessions, alternating for each team, as Spencer Weiss unable to connect there for Princeton.
Now, when the ball goes into the post, Princeton's always doubling from the perimeter down. If you want shots off of that double team, it's the second pass out of the double. So ball in the post, here comes the double. One more, really good offense.
Corey Johnson again connecting. And he was a guy that, in talking to Tommy Amaker, that they just want to get him back into a rhythm. 6 points or fewer in 4 of his last 5 games. But that's not going to be an issue tonight. He's already buried a couple of three-pointers. Bryce Aiken unable to put that one home, but we do have a foul. A foul on that play from Pete Miller underneath the hoop, Dino.
Well, I'll tell you what, Harvard making it, scoring out of post play. The feed, the double, the reversal. Terrific offense for the 3 for the Crimson.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the all-new KFC Georgia Gold Honey Mustard Barbecue Chicken. It's finger-licking gold.
Now the Princeton lacrosse team getting a nice win earlier today on ESPNU right before we came on, 18-7 over number 3 Johns Hopkins. So Princeton looking for a nice double header here tonight.
Little sweep. One lacrosse, one basketball. Harvard will have a lot to say about that, though. Shooting lights out from behind the three-point line. 6 for 10 from threes for Harvard.
The next Harvard 2-point field goal attempt will be its first.
There you go.
No. They have heard what we just said, and they are not. They're going to kick this one out to the three-point line. Again, Harvard 6 of 10 from beyond the three-point line. And how about another? It's Corbin Miller. Unable to get that one, but there is a foul on the play. Pete Miller picking up his 2nd foul. And the senior, 6'11", out of Winchester, Mass, picking up his 2nd foul. So 2 fouls for Chris Lewis for Harvard and a couple for Pete Miller. And that one will stay Crimson ball.
We're seeing Princeton go man-to-man on baseline out of bounds, and I love what they did on the dribble handoff. Defensively, got in between the handoff guy and the cutter. Did a great job of breaking that play up.
Bryce Aiken able to draw a foul there. And that's Will Gladson picking up a foul.
And you know what I love about what Aiken did right there? He knows the big guy showing on the screen, so he just dips his shoulder and drives right into him. That's a tough move for Gladson, trying to keep the little guard in front of him without fouling.
That's 14 fouls now for Princeton. A little more than 8 minutes into this game. There's Corey Johnson kicking that one out, and that is a turnover, and it's a one-on-one break. Stephen Cook gets that one to go, and the foul. The foul on Robert Baker. The make by Stephen Cook. Again, if Harvard never sees Stephen Cook again, they'll be fine with it.
Absolutely. Wow, when you over-penetrate, you have to make sure you're back for defense. Harvard wasn't right there. One thing you can't do on the road, especially with a young team, is turn the basketball over. Robert Baker for Harvard has to make sure he's back. He's that last line of defense.
That is 5 turnovers already for Harvard, not even midway through this first half. Remember, Stephen Cook was the guy who hit that game-winning shot, that go-ahead shot, to beat Harvard back in Cambridge. Rebounded the missed free throw with 2.9 left, put it back, and Princeton wins that one by 1. That bucket draws them to within 2 here of Harvard at home.
And Matt, as a coach, that drives you nuts as we get an illegal screen. That we get killed because you didn't box out on a free throw. It ended up costing you the game.
OJ, Made in America, now the Academy Award winner for Best Documentary Feature. If you missed it or just want to see it again, we'll have it for you this week tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. You can always catch it on demand through the ESPN app or watch ESPN app. Spoiler alert, he was found not guilty. Harvard up 2 nearly midway through this first half. We are in Princeton, New Jersey. Spencer Wise using the left hand, unable to connect.
And you love what Weiss did right there. Size advantage, so he tried to back down Bryce Aiken into the post. Just couldn't finish with his left hand. Princeton showing hard on all those ball screens. And what we mean by that is that big guy comes up, faces the sideline to try to keep the guy out of the lane as Basie takes the ball down and scores at the rim.
Justin Bassey, that is their first 2-point field goal attempt. They are shooting 100% from inside the 3-point line.
And point productivity from Bassey is huge because he's one of the better defenders.
And there's Stephen Cook again. More than 1,000 career points for the Tigers.
I didn't see it. I didn't see the walk by Chambers right there.
No, Princeton will retake possession.
I thought he did a good job of coming to a jump stop in the lane. And Harvard stole a little page out of Princeton's book right there with the back door, but all for naught.
That is the 7th turnover for Harvard here in this first half. Don't do the on-pace numbers if you're Tommy Amaker. It'll drive you nuts. The 3-point field goal is good from Miles Stevens. Miles Stevens, double figures in 10 of his last 11 games. And now he's made it 11 of his last 12.
And you know what, Matt? He plays both sides of the ball. I mean, Mitch told us yesterday, Mitch Henderson, he could guard positions 1 through 5. And when he scores for them, what a huge bonus that is.
Bryce Aiken misfires from mid-range. Princeton already with their first lead of the night, trying to extend it. Gladson unable to connect from 3. 8 points off turnovers for Princeton. And that 3-point attempt from Chambers is no good.
Well, that's what Harvard wants to do. They want to play at a faster pace, but you don't want to rush your shot selection. They could have got that shot a little later in the shot clock. They want to play a little more up-tempo than Princeton, but they don't want to rush their shots.
There's Weiss inside, unable to connect there, but Miles Stevens with the offensive rebound.
And Weiss gives you size, but he's backing guys in at 6'4", but he's got to finish at the rim.
And they're going to call an offensive foul there on Stevens. Stevens got the rebound, but then calling a little hook play for Stevens.
Yeah, they called the clear out with the offhand.
Yep, and that is a foul, team foul number 5 for the Tigers.
You know what, Matt? When Harvard was going through the post, they weren't scoring in the post, but when Princeton was doubling, they were kicking out and rotating the ball. They have to go back in the post play. Play through the guy in the block.
Harvard been living on the perimeter for the most part here in this first half. There's Zena Edosimwan.
And that's what they need to do every time they go in the post. The other two were made threes. The post feed right there, they drew a foul. But one of the things Harvard needs to do is they need to make sure they guard the three-point line. This guy right here, perfect thus far from the field, Miles Stevens.
Of championship week. They've been a part of it before in one-game playoffs, but for the first time they break from tradition. The ancient 8 becoming modernized with a 4-team conference tournament.
And we see Joey Brackett's 1 seeds there, and I like them all right now, but I'll tell you what, Carolina loses again, Gonzaga loses again. I think they go off of that one line. And you know what, man, I think the Ivy League, when they had those one-game playoffs, it drew so much attention. The conference loved it. So they go to a 4-team league playoff, and what it does, it still gives the regular season a lot of importance. So who finishes 1 and 2, but dipped into the playoffs for the Ivies for the first time, playing at the Palestra. And I know one thing, if I'm Princeton, I don't want Penn finishing 4th playing them on their home court.
We're going to talk to Executive Director of the Ivy League, Robin Harris, coming up at halftime about how the idea came about, why they're doing it, and what they expect coming up next week at the Palestra. We talked to Mitch Henderson about it, and just the feeling about it. There seems to be a consensus of, yes, it's a good idea, but there's going to be years you don't like it, like when you're Princeton and you're the regular season champ, and there's years you do like it, when you're Harvard this year, or Penn, or Dartmouth, which still has a chance to get in the 14.
Any of those teams where you're not the 1 seed, you are going for it. You are happy for it.
Nearly another turnover.
No, I think Harvard maintains possession. I think it was off of Stephen Cook on the deflection. Yeah, Tommy a little frustrated right there with of them not valuing the basketball. And not only not taking care of the ball, not making the right pass at the right time.
It's Bryce Aiken with some fancy dribbling, getting down the lane and getting rejected by Alec Brennan. The junior down low, able to put that one away.
The youngster Aiken really talented, as we see another long 3 from Stephen Cook.
Stephen Cook. That's called defense to offense. And Cook able to connect from there. And Princeton now on an 8-1 run on Crimson.
Yeah, keep going inside.
Nice shot there for Seth Towns. Averages 12 a game. Seth Towns setting career and single season scoring records in high school. Same high school as Jared Sullinger and Trey Burke. So pretty good track record coming in out of Northwood High School. But a nice play there from Stephen Cook. Cook continues to show Harvard why they wish he graduated a year ago. Cook again.
Yeah, turnovers really hurting Harvard right now. Tommy Amaker with the timeout. Their offense, Harvard's offense, is hurting them on the defensive end of the floor.
That is another bucket for Cook. This is their largest lead of the game, a 5-point margin, fewer than 6 minutes to go. But again, defense to offense here for Princeton.
Well, that's what we've seen so much right here in the first half. So, and you know what, Matt? That was almost an unforced error. A bad pass which leads to a run out. And the guards for Harvard have to get back. And if your point guard penetrates, then your 2 and your 3 guards need to get back. They need to keep Princeton out of transition. But the biggest problem Harvard's having right now is on the offensive side of the ball when they're turning it over, leading to runouts.
Stephen Cook's been terrific so far. Perfect 5 of 5 from the floor. He had 19 points at Harvard, again, including that big game-winning rebound putback off the missed free throw with 2.9 seconds left back in Cambridge.
Well, Matt, for Princeton, you got Stephen Cook with 5 field goals. He's 5 for 5. Miles Stevens is 4 for 4. Those two guys have 9 of Princeton's. All 9 of Princeton's baskets. But there's no defense to be played by Harvard when you're throwing pick sixes on offense.
12-3 run now for Princeton. We'll see what Harvard can do coming out of the timeout. Here's Towns, foot on the line. That's talented. 2.
You mentioned this kid out of Columbus, Ohio, was recruited by Michigan, Ohio State, a top 100. Size, can shoot the 3, can put it on the floor. Really, really talented.
Weiss puts it on the floor. That goes out of bounds. That'll stay with Princeton. Harvard disagrees for obvious reasons because they play for Harvard. You mentioned Seth Towns, 2-time Ivy League Rookie of the Week, and we mentioned it to Tommy Amaker, and I asked him, "You think that Northeastern game was a turning point for him?" He said, "Yeah, I certainly do. 24 points, season high / career high, and the team gained confidence. That win, the win against Houston as well." Trying to elevate this young team, and those early wins so key for a young team.
They really were, because they came off of the trip to China a little bit beat up. It wore down a young team. And Seth Towns, as we're talking about, 16 against Brown last weekend, 18 against Yale, playing really well for Tommy Amaker.
And that bucket for Kennedy is a big one for Princeton. Yes, he's their leading scorer, but that's his first bucket against Harvard this year.
0 for 8 last game.
0 for 8 from the field the last time out against Harvard, and they still won the game, and he's their leading scorer on the season.
That's the amazing thing. He goes 0 for 8, 0 for 5 from threes, and Princeton still comes out with the win.
So now he's 1 for 12 from the floor against Harvard this year. 5-point advantage here for the Tigers. The kick out. Brennan. A little too strong, and here comes Harvard.
Okay, these guys are really smart, right, Matt?
I mean, everyone on this floor.
These are the 2 top academic schools in America. Keep throwing the ball inside, Harvard. That's where you need to go, inside.
There's Towns again.
Yeah, a little post up.
Little beautiful shot.
Throw it into them big guys. I know he's not a giant at 6'7", but let's play through the post. That's been good for us thus far in the first half, when we don't turn it over.
Seth Towns with a team-high 12. He's a perfect 5 of 5 from the floor. 2 for 2 from 3. Got ourselves a good one here in Princeton. Spencer Weiss sizing up Towns. Takes Towns down low and connects.
Wow, Spencer Weiss really knows how to play. High-level thinker. Mitch Henderson told us the perfect Princeton basketball player.
That's 4 points for Weiss. There's Johnson. A little too strong from 3.
But you know what, Matt? Really good defense.
3-point attempt, no good there for Kennedy.
Yeah, if you're Harvard, you want to run the break. Then if we don't have anything, let's go into our offense and understand where the ball belongs. Boy, he's good with the ball. Quick.
Siani Chambers can dish that. That's Robert Baker. He can hit it from the outside. That is his 8th made 3-pointer of the season. Shoots 70% from 3. The big men can do it. He's 6'10".
And one of our colleagues, Fran Frischilla, whose son Matt is on this team, who's seen a ton of practices, says Robert Baker at 6'10" has pro potential.
Timeout here coming up. Ivy League success. They've had a bunch of it in the postseason. We'll reflect coming up. On Harvard and the Tigers trying to get to the postseason yet again. It's been a little while, but their head coach has had some success there.
Well, we're looking back here at Mitch Henderson. How about this? Well, this is the game winner right here that we're looking at from Douglas Davis. Man, that breaks your heart right there if you're Harvard. That was one of the playoff games. And you know what I loved, Matt? I loved his patience, how he waited with the short clock for the defender to go by him.
That was that winner-take-all in 2011 between Princeton and Harvard. So Harvard went to the NIT. Princeton went to the NCAA tournament, and that was their last NCAA tournament appearance. And in a normal year, Princeton would be getting back to the NCAA tournament by winning 1 of 2 this weekend. But again, they're going to have a little more work to do coming up in the Ivy League tournament next week.
Well, you know what you're kicking yourself for if you're Mitch Henderson, and we don't know what he did, but he voted, yeah, I'd like to have a playoff. Right now he's like, man, I wish we didn't have a playoff. We'd be locked in there.
Now, it's interesting talking to Mitch. He said at the end of last year, was a Dosunmu getting down low, unable to connect there. Here comes Princeton. Talking to Mitch Henderson, he said at the end of last year, the season ends in the postseason at Virginia Tech and that loss. And the guys were a little down knowing that they'd have a good team coming up next year. Oh, what a nice play by Stephen Cook, who's having a game of his life.
Well, you know what? Just picked up right where he left off from game 1 against Harvard. And you know what? He's made some threes, but showing his offensive diversity. And you know what I love, Matt? Him going to the other side of the rim, which negates the shot block by Dosunmu.
Stevens and Cook are a combined 10 of 10 from the floor with 24 points. The rest of the team, 2 of 16 from the floor for 10 points.
This guy's their captain, their leader, provides energy. Stephen Cook from Winnetka, Illinois.
Second on the team in scoring as a junior. He's second on the team in scoring here as a senior as well.
And I'll tell you, Princeton's ball screen defense has been outstanding in the first half.
And another turnover for Harvard. That is turnover number 10. Here's Weiss dishing back out. Gladson. No good on the 3, but a nice steal or a nice rebound from Devin Kennedy, taking that away from the Crimson.
Well, Robert Baker, when he grabs that ball, he's got to chin it, elbows out, keep those little guys from getting a hand on it.
Kennedy rewarding himself. Comes up with the ball on the last miss and doesn't miss from there. Devin Kennedy.
Well, how about last weekend, Devin Kennedy? He made 12 three-point field goals, 6 in both games, playing really well and shooting it really well, especially from behind the three-point line.
Mitch Henderson said, I don't know if I've made 12 threes in my career, which is a little self-deprecating. We know that can't be true.
Boy, can't say enough about Princeton's ball screen defense.
Look at Wise throwing that one up from under the hoop. Weiss unable to connect.
That looked like one of my shots at lunchtime.
I can confirm. That one kicked out of bounds. Again, great game coming up this weekend. Saturday, tomorrow night, 8:15 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. The rematch in Chapel Hill. Duke and North Carolina to close out the regular season. The Blue Devils won that thriller at Cameron Indoor by 8 last month. This Sonic blockbuster can also be seen streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN app. Princeton, their largest lead. Here's Towns taking that one through.
Now, Isaiah Hicks didn't play in that first game for North Carolina. And you know what, Matt? Because there's times when Duke goes small, Jason Tatum is the 4. Kennedy Meeks, Tony Bradley just cannot guard him on the perimeter. So I think with Hicks back in the lineup, healthy, that he has a better chance of guarding when Duke goes small. Duke outscored North Carolina 39-12 from behind the three-point line in game 1.
Right now, Princeton outscoring Harvard 38-31.
Both teams shooting well from behind the three-point line. Harvard a little better, but you know what? Princeton right now, 7 or 8 from the free throw line. Harvard just making up a little of that differential from the line. 3 for 4 after those 2.
Seth Towns, 14 points. Perfect 5 of 5 from the floor. Perfect 2 of 2 from the free throw line. 2 of 2 from the three-point line as well. 15 seconds to go here in this first half. Princeton up by 6, and they'll hold for 1.
Now you got to have help side defenders in the dark shirts in the lane.
The three-pointer. And that half-court shot comes up short. Princeton, their largest lead of the game, comes at half, 41-32. They are 18-1 this season when leading at half. halftime. And Kennedy, again, had a rough showing the first time they played Harvard. He's having a great game so far in the last 5 minutes.
He really did. And Siani Chambers has to do a better job of getting over that ball screen with a little more urgency. Kennedy, terrific from behind the three-point line on the shot. I loved how...
Welcome back. Princeton with a 41-32 lead as we are about to begin the second half. Princeton looking for their 16th straight win. In order to prevent that, take us inside the play, Dino.
Matt, one of the things Harvard's done well is they played through the post in the first half. And what that does, it causes Princeton to double-team the post. So they rotate down off the top. And I love what Harvard does. Great ball movement. It's always the second pass out of the double team that gets you the shot. Princeton in rotation. Chambers the one more. Terrific offense for Harvard. Down like they are, that's what they need to do. And the other thing, take care of the basketball. 12 Harvard turnovers have led to numerous runouts for Princeton.
And the stats don't lie. This is a three-point shooting competition. Both teams have combined 13 of 30 from three. That's 43%. The last time these two teams faced off, they hit 30% from three, combined to miss 37 threes the last time out. That is not the case here tonight.
Well, you know what Tommy Amaker's telling these guys at halftime? Fellas, if they're good enough to beat us, fine. As Henderson comes out of the halftime with the lob. But let's don't beat ourselves, and Harvard's doing that right now with turnovers.
Chris Lewis been in foul trouble, kicks that one out. That's a nice sign from Justin Bassey, who's able to connect from the outside.
Really good play by Mitch Henderson on the first possession for the lob. Princeton just couldn't complete it.
For Princeton, it has been Kennedy, Stevens, and Cook. They have combined for 35 points, and Harvard has 35 points. One extra pass. Aiken back out to Chambers, getting the roll, and they're within three.
And that's one of the ways Harvard has made threes today. Dribble penetration, draws secondary defenders, and the wonderful kick out to Chambers and the three-point basket.
2 field goals, 2 3-pointers, 6-0 run for the Crimson here. They're shooting 9 of 16 from the three-point line here in this game, and here they come again. Towns left open. They hit again.
Boy, you might want to get one right here.
Harvard storms out of the locker room, connecting on 3 3-pointers. That's a 9-0 run for the Crimson, and we are all knotted up.
And Matt, the threes are coming off of passes, and that's your highest percentage three as opposed to off the dribble. Really good offense by Harvard.
Well, Stephen Cook would like to get in on the act. Stephen Cook is 7 of 8 from the floor, has 17 points.
I'll tell you, when Harvard isn't turning it over, they're creating threes off of dribble penetration and transition, and that's when they're good offensively.
Towns to Chris Lewis, who is blocked there, but we're going to call a foul. Kennedy had that one, but it's been the 3-ball, Dino.
I love this right here. The best fake in the game is the shot fake. Gets the defense in rotation. A wonderful find to Chambers. And then in transition, stop the ball. Princeton doesn't do it on the possession. Towns with the open three.
Seth Towns has not missed a shot. 6 of 6 from the floor. 3 of 3 from beyond the three-point line. He's got a game-high 17. Stephen Cook also with 17. Here's Lewis right now with his first points of the game.
And Matt, Chris Lewis plays limited minutes in the first half because of foul trouble, but from a great athletic family. Of course, his dad, Mo Lewis, 13th season, linebacker for the Jets, and his brother, Mo, also playing basketball at the Naval Academy for Eddie DeCellis in the class of 2019.
Chris Lewis hits those free throws.
Lewis can be a difference maker for this team out of Alpharetta, Georgia's Milton High School. Shot blocker. He's a little raw offensively, as we saw right there, but he can score around the rim, and really a strong kid inside. We're talking about a guy that's recruited by SEC schools. Georgia recruited this kid, but academically wanted to go to Harvard, starting for Tommy Amaker this year.
There's Cook trying to create. off the glass, and in high off the glass is Stephen Cook.
Boy, the senior knows how to use the board. High arc to get it over the shot blocking. Over the shot blocker, I should say.
Cook's got 19 points. That's the same amount of points he had the last time they played Harvard. We got a turnover here. And again, here's Cook high off the glass.
Well, the hesitation freezes the defense. Whew. Great use of the backboard. You know what, Matt? He had to get it up high there to get it over Chris Lewis, and he did.
13th turnover now for Harvard. Turnover epidemic. They haven't shaken that virus here that extends from the first half. Miles Stevens, no good from three. Chambers draws a foul.
That's Harvard basketball. Tommy Amaker wants them playing up-tempo, in transition, and this is the guy. Everything they do revolves around him.
That should Siani Chambers. Again, number one. That foul, by the way, is on Amir Bell. That's his second. But Siani Chambers with the ball now, number one. He's three-time All-Ivy Leaguer. They say coach says he's wired to lead, wired to win. Everything runs through him.
And Matt, when he tore his ACL, withdrew from school, went back to Minnesota, rehabbed it for half a year, and then he came back to Harvard. And Tommy told us he was a nanny for one of the reverends on campus while he was not in school for a year.
The reverend at Harvard Memorial Church, he was a nanny for half of that year, and they joke on the team that he's kind of the nanny for the team because they're all freshmen in the starting lineup except for Chambers.
Well, when you start 4 freshmen, it's like you have a diaper changing station in the locker room with all those young guys. But he's the KG veteran, the leader. He gets them going. He knows what to do. He leads this league also, Siani Chambers, in assists, and by a wide margin, 6 per game.
That foul there on Corey Johnson, by the way, his first. Cook falls to the ground. That one, yep, that's going to stay Princeton ball as Chris Lewis touched the end line while he was touching the basketball, so Princeton will regain possession.
Cook fortunate there they didn't get a walk call for the Princeton Tigers.
And Miles Stevens going to check out. Alec Brennan is in. Amir Bell is in. Justin Bassey in for Harvard. Here's Weiss backing down. Aiken off the glass and in.
And you know what? As he's backing down, Matt, 2 and 3 dribbles, the reason Harvard can't provide help because the other guys on the perimeter are such good three-point shooters.
Chris Lewis looking for his first field goal of the game, and the lefty is good. Double figures in 8 times last year. He's been shooting great of late. Last 10 games, 50% or better from the floor. And that's a nice dish down low, Stephen Cook. He's got 21 points in this game.
If your man sets a back screen and you're guarding the screener, you have ultimate basket responsibility. You got to help off that screener and take away that back cut.
Stephen Cook, 9 of 10 from the floor, 21 points, but Seth Towns ain't too far behind. 7 of 7 from the floor, 4 of 4 from the three-point line. He's got 20.
We should just let Towns and Cook play one-on-one. Cook got 21, Towns has 20.
Couple of great individual performances here. Kennedy says, don't forget about me. Well, we can for that shot because he missed. Rebound from Chris Lewis. Here comes Harvard. The pace picking up.
And Harvard zoned for the first time on that possession, Matt.
Lewis, kick out. Towns could not connect off the glass. Lewis with the strong rebound there, and he draws a foul, Dino.
Wow, when you're playing Princeton, you got to guard against the backcourt caught Pete Carrill. Man, he'd be proud of that play right there. These teams has had postseason success, and if that guy right there looks familiar, he should. Mitch Henderson, Princeton head basketball coach, 1998, the one more to the corner, the three. He had 19 as Princeton took down UNLV 69-57. Played for Bill Carmody, the head coach right there. And he looks the same, Matt. Looks like he could play again. And how about what Tommy Amaker has done with the Harvard Crimson? 4 NCAA tournaments. Beat New Mexico in 2013, beat Cincinnati in 14, and that loss to Michigan State in 2014, 7-point loss. And that guy right there has done a marvelous job at Harvard.
5 NCAAs, 4 under Amaker, 5 Ivy League titles, all under Amaker. And talking to Tommy this week, he said it's rare that you can say that you could accomplish something at Harvard that has never been accomplished before. There's a lot of smart people there on that campus, and they were able to do that by winning their first Ivy League titles, and he has done that, 5 of them.
Amazing what he's done. And you know what, Matt? I coached at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, where the academics, like these 2 institutions right here, when you can accomplish what these 2 schools have done and what Tommy's done at Harvard, like we mentioned, has never been done before. Man, what a sense of accomplishment that you feel right there. And Harvard now into the zone because difficulty guarding Princeton. Let's see how they defend the line.
Miles Stevens unable to get that one to go. Here's Harvard. They've got numbers. See if they recognize that. Towns. He's missed his last 2 3-point attempts. Towns has 20 points. His career high is also his season high. He's a freshman. He had 24 back in December against Northeastern. Towns and Cook having great games here so far. Stevens working on Johnson, gets the bucket.
See, Matt, Harvard has got a decision to make. Do we just stay singled up inside, or we bring a second defender down to trap the post? But I understand completely Tommy Amaker concerned with Princeton's 3-point shooting. So he's just singled up inside.
Stevens has 30. Oh, nice pass from Lewis down low, and that is connected with Justin Bassey, the freshman. That's freshman to freshman there. A nice connection. They'll get used to that one over the next few years.
Not many big guys can pass out of the double team. But a great find right there. And you know what? Making yourself available when the double team comes, and that's exactly what Justin Bassey did right there. Make it an easy pass for your big guy when he's being double teamed.
Foul on Spencer Weiss. That is his second. Harvard trying to take their first lead of the second half and cannot connect there. Princeton had a 9-point lead at the break. Yeah, this was a 1-point game last time they met in Cambridge. Princeton was the 1-point victor.
The biggest challenge in our game today is trying to guard the basketball one-on-one. So you have to stay low. You want to be cognizant of the fact that Princeton could shoot the 3, but high hand, you have to move your feet. And as soon as you put a hand on an offensive player, automatic foul. Good call by the official.
That's the second for Corey Johnson. 14 fouls for Princeton, 2 for Harvard. Weiss with the kick. Cook, Kenny off the front of the iron, but the Tigers get a fresh shot clock.
The Harvard guards have to rebound because long shots, 3-point shots equal long rebounds. You have to run those long rebounds down.
Weiss crafty off of Johnson, but cannot make that shot. Robert Baker with the rebound. Here comes the Crimson. Johnson with the pump fake. And Bassey gathers. That's Baker. He's already hit a 3 in this game. Does not connect there. And we're still deadlocked at 52. Stevens. Looked like he was blocked from behind from Baker. And we're going to have a foul.
You know what I loved about the play right there by Stevens? When he had the big guy on him, I love driving the big guy, and that's exactly what he did.
Driving on a Dosemwan.
Sometimes guards out there settle for 3s when they have a big guy on him. Make the big guy move his feet. Drive the big to the basket. Exactly what Miles Stevens did.
He had a big in front of him, a big in back of him. A Dosemwan and Baker. That was a foul called on Robert Baker. That's his second. Spencer Weiss Going to sit down for a few. It's Alec Brennan in the game for Princeton.
And Matt, you got Alec Brennan, a 6'11" guy in a game, but he's not a big that's a back-to-basket big. 47% of Brennan's field goal attempts have been threes. So he's another guy, despite his size, that you must guard him at the three-point line.
And a push there from Kennedy. As Bassey tried to save him from going out of bounds, didn't have to. The foul had already been called. These are two teams right now. By the way, that's the second foul on Kennedy. Both of these teams shooting well from three, shooting well from the free throw line. Those things could not be said the last time these two teams met. Last month in Cambridge. Both teams got a little cold over the last couple of minutes. There's Chambers. Finding a Dosimwan down low. Outside to Johnson. Their first lead since it was 20-18 in the first half.
Well, you know what, Matt? The reason is the last 9 minutes, one turnover for Harvard. They're getting shots. That's how they claw their way back into this game.
Princeton. There's Cook and gets that one to go. An and one opportunity for Stephen Cook, his 23rd point. 22nd and 23rd point of the game. And he will go to the free throw line to try and complete it.
Well, I love the baseline drift pass for the three for Harvard. No turnovers in a half for Harvard, but one. And then take that ball to the basket. In the restricted area arc, Princeton with the finish.
AA tournament and perhaps get to the Final Four. Princeton has made a Final Four before, 1965, and this man was a big part of that.
You talk about accomplished. Scored 58 against Wichita State in a 65 Final Four, which is still a Final Four record. How about U.S. Senator 79 and 97 from the state of New Jersey. 2000 candidate for the Democratic nomination for president. Obviously, got his degree from Princeton, a Rhodes Scholar. And Matt, 1964 gold medalist, 2 NBA championships with the Knicks, and Hall of Famer. Talk about accomplished. Wow.
He was in a Sports Center commercial as well.
Wow.
This is Sports Center commercial. I mean, he's done it all.
Author. I got to get the book, We Can All Do Better, that he wrote. One of the great politicians, players, people in the country.
Matt Gaudio here with you for this Ivy League showdown. Princeton and Harvard, the top two teams in the Ivy, and could be the second meeting of 3 as they could meet in next week's conference tournament. Kennedy unable to finish that, but guess who? Stephen Cook. Stephen Cook, who right now has 12 of the team's 17 second-half points.
Well, Siani Chambers has to do a better job of taking care of the ball. 12 first-half turnovers. That was only their second, but as we saw, it leads to a run-out and a basket for Princeton.
Corey Johnson from deep. Too strong, and there for the big rebound is Alec Brennan. Stephen Cook, he's locked and loaded, but makes the extra pass to Brennan. Too short. Dosimwan with the rebound.
Yeah, keep the ball in front of you so you don't have your teammates in rotations defensively.
Princeton, winners of 15 straight. Could be one of only 2 teams to finish the regular season unbeaten in conference play. Vermont, the other. Out of the horizon.
We all thought Gonzaga was going to be one, but BYU took him down last Saturday night.
And a foul there going the other way. This week, our NBA Saturday primetime game presented by Verizon Wireless on ABC matches CP3, a guy Dino Gaudio knows a little bit. Blake Griffin and the Clippers against Jimmy Butler, D-Wade, and the Bulls. Our coverage tips with NBA Countdown, presented by Straight Talk Wireless at 8 p.m. Eastern. And as always, see it streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN app.
Chris's thumb feeling much better after the surgery. And you know what, man, I think that bodes well for him moving forward. There was a little spell there where he wasn't playing and traveling. Hopefully for the playoffs, CP3 will be a little fresher this year.
Saw Amir Bell make that bucket. He started every game as a freshman, every game as a sophomore. That three-pointer was no good, and then it became good. That's the night for Harvard. Justin Bassey with another three-point make, and Harvard has made 13 of them in this game. 13 of 25.
And I love how they're getting them off of penetration. And again, they feed the post, the double team, and it's always the second pass out of the double team. Harvard's smart enough to realize that. That's what creates the three-point shot. Boy, really well-schooled team, Harvard. Tommy Amaker knows that they're going to double down. That's what they did in game one. So let's try to make Princeton pay the price for double teaming.
3 seconds there. So Princeton, a turnover. And here's Harvard. Chance to take the lead with a three. Aiken getting heckled for a previous air ball. That was not air, but it was also not a make, much to the delight of the Tiger fans here.
And a good job by Princeton of switching the ball screen now, and pretty good defense by the Tigers.
8.5 minutes to go here. Princeton 12-0 in league play.
Good defense on the ball by Lewis.
Stevens no good. Nice tip out from Stephen Cook, and that leads to a foul on Harvard. The little things that may not show up.
Seth Towns is going to be a great player, but you know, he got caught watching right there. When the shot goes up, go put your body on the offensive player, box out. He had a long rebound right there, which would have led to transition for himself and Harvard, but he got caught ball watching right there.
That's his first foul of the game, the team's 6th foul of the second half, so Princeton 1 away from the bonus. Amir Bell kicking to Cook, who's got a wide open lane. Stephen Cook putting on a show. He's got 28 points. That's 1 off of his season high. 2 off of his season high. He had 30 against Monmouth earlier this year. Lewis, nice move. Again, a little raw offensively, but a good effort. Gets the rebound and draws the foul.
Wow, Stephen Cook has been sensational. 12 for 14 from the field. A poor closeout, and he makes the youngster Bassey pay the price. Big guy, finish at the rim. Stephen Cook has been sensational, and he's done it in a variety of ways, from behind the three-point line. I love the hesitation right there, the high arcing shot over Lewis. And man, the senior knows how to move without the basketball. A do-everything guard. He has been impressive this afternoon.
28 points, 2 shy of his career high, which he set back in December against Monmouth. 14 points in the first half, 14 points in the second half. And again, Harvard fans don't want to be reminded of this, but he had the key free throw miss rebound putback against Harvard in Cambridge that capped a 4-point possession for Princeton. 2.9 seconds left, eventually escape with a 1-point win.
Matt, as a coach, that drives you crazy, and I know it drove Tommy Amaker crazy, because they have a 1-point lead, 7 seconds to go, and the shooter misses the free throw. Harvard doesn't box. Cook gets the offensive rebound, 1 dribble, scores with 2.7 seconds to go, and that's the difference in the game. But a cardinal sin right there for a very young starting 4 freshman Harvard team. That's an error that they'll learn from moving forward.
That ball belongs to Princeton, much to the dismay of the entire Harvard bench, including Tommy Amaker. Again, 10 conference wins for the 7th time in the last 8 years for Harvard, and this is such a young team. If they don't make the tournament this year, you got to think for years to come they're going to be the class of the Ivy, or at least one of the 2 teams at the top.
And what a perfect fit. A Duke grad, obviously mentored under Mike Krzyzewski, played in the NBA, a terrific fit at Harvard.
Miles Stevens trying to make it a perfect fit down low to the rack, but Chris Lewis was there to defend it. Chris Lewis, third in the Ivy League in blocks per game.
Throw it in there. There you go.
There's Lewis. Kennedy tried to get a mid on it. Aiken off the side of the iron.
I'm really impressed with Chris Lewis. He could score the ball at the rim, and for a young guy, handles those double teams pretty well. He's strong enough where he's strong with the ball. He can make the pass out of the double team. This kid's going to be a terrific player in the Ivy League.
Cook to Stevens, saves it. It goes out of bounds. Kennedy trying to save it. And it comes to Harvard. Chambers kicking. Towns, pump fake, shot, no, but he draws the foul.
You know me, I love the shot fake. It's the best fake in the game because it gets the defender unathletic. Chambers with the penetration. That's a perfect shot fake. It's another young guy who's going to be terrific. Out of Northland High School. You mentioned it, Matt. Jared Solinger School, Trey Burke School. But this guy right here, the leading scorer in the history of the school, when you got NBA guys that have played there in front of you, speaks volumes for his abilities.
Northland High School, yeah, ran track and field as well, was a cross-country runner in high school.
You know what Tommy Amaker has done at this place? Because they've had some success postseason. Now, these terrific academic student athletes, he's getting them from the Big Ten. Michigan, Ohio State recruited this kid. Chris Lewis was recruited by the SEC. Bryce Aiken's probably going to be the freshman of the year in this league out of the Patrick School in New Jersey. So really good students. And you know what? Really good basketball players also.
Yeah, Amaker's saying we never want to sell them on anything. We present them with an opportunity. And it's a chance now that you can become a consistent winner, nationally relevant. That's what they are. They were in on Wendell Carter, top 5 player in the class of 2017. He picked Duke over Harvard. Kennedy's dribble off the foot.
Boy, I don't agree with that.
I'm not sure about that either.
You know what? If someone throws the ball off a defender's leg, or as long as he doesn't make like the kicking action with his foot, he did it. Hit his leg first.
Looked off the ankle.
Yeah, back call.
Weiss backing down Chambers. Yeah,
he's had several of those opportunities where he's taken advantage of his height. That's 6'4", 6'5".
That's 6'4" versus 6 foot right there.
And Matt, because we mentioned this, there's such good perimeter shooters. Princeton has spacing on the perimeter. He could bounce it 3 and 4 times to get to the rim.
There's Lewis. That ball tipped from Weiss. Aiken still hearing it.
With the short clock now at 4.
Towns, no good, but that ball comes to Kennedy. Less than 5 minutes to go here at Carrill Court. Princeton, winners of 15 straight, already clinched the share of their 27th Ivy League championship, trying to finish the regular season unbeaten in conference play. And Devin Kennedy doing his part to make sure that happens.
Well, you got to get over that back screen right there and chase that flare to the corner. Chambers did not do it on the last possession.
Seth Towns driving, dunking, and falling hard on his side. Looked like right on his hip. Seth Towns with the pump fake, the drive, the spin, and nowhere to go. Momentum carrying him through the bucket. And that bucket right there ties his career high of 24 points, which he set back in December in the win against Northeastern.
What a great move, though. Nice spin along the baseline. Terrific elevation.
Oh!
The defender never caught him. He just, I think the rim, the momentum just swung him up in the air, and he came down on his hip.
Right on the hip. Again, that's Seth Towns. Out of Columbus, Ohio. And he's got a free throw coming here, Dino.
I'm saying he's not shooting this one. Unless Tommy gets a timeout here, I don't think he's shooting this one.
They lost his
but you know what,
there
Matt?
on the bench.
80% free throw shooter as well in what has become a 2-point game.
No, they didn't call it. They must not have called a foul.
I think it was just a stoppage in play.
Got it. There was no foul.
There wasn't a foul.
There was no foul, just the dunk and the stoppage in play.
I think it was a foul. He might have stayed in there.
Princeton with the 2-point edge. Seth Towns now on the bench, so we'll monitor that situation and see if he can come back in. He has been the star for Harvard again with 24 points, 24 of the team's 63. Chris Lewis facing the double, so he kicks. And those are the kind of shots that Harvard's going to have to hit. And he's open. Bryce Aiken underneath. Pump fake, and he walks.
Watch, you might get a technical here.
And I don't know who Aiken's more upset at, the foul call or the travel call there, or the fact that he didn't get that ball quickly enough. He was open there under the hoop. Bryce Aiken, emotional. It's the Ivy League. Less than 4 minutes to go. Hip was out for about 30 seconds or so, not too long. And Seth Towns, again, you can see him holding that hip. He's got 24 points. That's a season high and a career high, and we'll see how effective he is now.
Well, I'll tell you what, you need him in the lineup because he's the guy that Harvard's been going to in the first half. And we see them go 1-3-1 matchup, and then they flow right into man-to-man, Harvard. Not many teams can do that.
Corey Johnson also checked in for Harvard. Kennedy off the front of the iron, and that ball will belong to Harvard.
You know what Harvard's doing, Matt, is they're coming down, showing zone, and when the pass is made to one side, they morph right into man-to-man. I see Arnie Chambers grabbing his hand right here.
All right, here's Bryce Aiken dribbling it up and getting the chorus from the Tiger faithful. There's Towns.
He looks all right.
I think Seth Towns might be healthy.
You know
the
what?
last dunk he had, he got hurt. He comes back, his first shot, a dunk.
I'll tell you, Bryce Aiken came off the ball screen, and what happened, Seth Towns' man has to help on the roll, and that's him closing out Stevens. What a finish by Seth Towns. Take it to the rim, young fella. And what I love about him, and he's not just one-dimensional. He can shoot the three. He's got 4 for 6 from behind the arc. Today, 4 for 4 from the line. What you're looking at the future of Harvard basketball right there.
He's scored 16 or more points in his last 5 games. He's been terrific. 26 points, 9 of 12 shooting. Princeton, by the way, only 1 made field goal, make it 2 made field goals over the last 5 minutes for Princeton. And guess who it is? Stephen Cook, who has now tied his career high with 30 points. So we got a couple career highs going. There's Bryce Aiken getting serenaded with an air ball, throws that one up off the glass, and we're tied at 67.
Aiken looked a little bit like who he likes to call his big brother, Kyrie Irving, on that play right there. Both went to St. Patrick's High School.
Yeah, the Patrick School. Kyrie Irving, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist from there as well. There's Weiss. Oh, nice dish to Stevens underneath.
So you're coming down the stretch, like whichever one of these teams get a stop, the coaches are screaming, let's go, bow your neck a little bit, play some defense. We get out of here with a win.
Stevens has 16. Kennedy's got 13. Stephen Cook's got 30. Seth Towns has 26. And Chambers looking for his 7th and 8th points, but does draw the foul. Here's the Cook bucket and then an answer from Aiken.
Well, on the possession right there, Cook just takes it right by Seth Towns. And Aiken from the Patrick School, like he talks a lot about Kyrie Irving's almost his big brother. These guys talk all the time. Kyrie would have been proud of that take right there.
Chambers good from the free throw line. And Justin Bassey back in, the freshman from Denver.
So Matt, if you're Tommy Amaker, you're saying, listen, Stephen Cook has 30. I mean, he's missed 2 shots. He's 13 for 15 from the field. I can't let this guy beat me. So whoever my best defender is, the last possession with Seth Towns on him, I either got to go one-on-one with him or I got to double him, but I can't let 25 beat me.
Tied at 69, less than 90 seconds to go here at Princeton. Princeton winners of 15 straight. 2 wins away from an undefeated regular conference season, and Cook cannot connect. Here comes Harvard.
Pretty good defense by Bassey. It's 6'5". Bassey has the length to bother him a little bit on those dribble drives.
Less than 1 minute to go. Aiken nearly lost the handle. Here's Towns. So looked like he wanted to shoot that one. 10 on the shot clock. Offensive foul. Bryce Aiken.
You got to make sure that when you're passing on penetration, that you come to a 2-foot jump stop.
That's Aiken's second. Tommy Amaker says Bryce Aiken, he's on a longer leash than some guys just because he can create, he can get shots others can't. He says, let me tell you when to slow down. Probably should have slowed down on that play. As Princeton's going to call a timeout.
Tickets are on sale right now for the Ivy League men and women men.
Great game going on right now. Great finish coming your way. Perhaps another great finish coming up tomorrow night. It's the rematch, 8:15 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. Duke and North Carolina to close out the regular season. The Blue Devils won the first iteration of this matchup this year last month in Durham. Going to be at Chapel Hill tomorrow night. Can also be seen on the ESPN app and watch ESPN app. Again, if the Ivy League ended today, if the conference season was over today, Princeton is the 1 seed, and they're going to get the 1 seed anyway, regardless of what happens. Harvard, what they're playing for, they're locked in at the 2, but trying to get a share of the Ivy League championship. They can do that by winning 2 games, and Princeton dropping this one and their game coming up tomorrow. Penn and Yale are jockeying here. There are a few teams, Columbia, Penn, Yale, Dartmouth is still in the running to get into this conference tournament. Yeah, this is the first year of the conference tournament for the Ivy League. All right, 43 seconds here, 26 on the shot clock, tied at 69. There was just a timeout. What do you expect here?
Well, Bassey, the last possession was on Cook. Now they're showing 1-3-1 right here, but they've morphed into man-to-man out of this as the possession has gone on in past possessions. But it looks like they're staying zone. So you make sure you identify where 25 is.
Here's Weiss. Too strong. Stevens with a strong rebound, and now Princeton will hold for 1.
Yeah, they want to take this shot with maybe 5 seconds. Now they got a timeout if Mitch wants to use it, but you want to take it with 5 so you get a second chance opportunity.
Princeton undefeated in conference play, looking for their 16th straight win.
Amir Bell with the ball. They're going to let him go.
Amir Bell, lefty off the glass is good. Timeout, Harvard. Amir Bell. It was his play to make, Dino.
Well, you know what they did? He had the big guy on him, the freshman who's talented, but Chris Lewis is on him. And I'll tell you what, I love what Mitch Henderson did right there. Let's isolate the big guy on Amir Bell, who has obviously perimeter skills, and He went by him. Great call. How about with Stephen Cook with 30 points, and he goes to Amir Bell. He had one basket prior to the one we just saw.
Amir Bell started all 30 games as a freshman, all 29 as a sophomore, started the first 5 games this season, and then was relegated to the bench because he started so poorly. But he has been a team guy. He's been okay. He's been willing off the bench, and he has been terrific tonight.
And how about what Mitch Henderson told us yesterday? He goes, we get better when he comes in the game, and man, they did on that possession.
And I say terrific tonight. He's been terrific in the last 5 seconds. He was great on that bucket. And another timeout, this one called by Princeton.
And you know what, as a coach, you got to go with your gut sometimes. He liked the matchup, Mitch Henderson, that he had with Amir Bell on Chris Lewis. And I love Chris Lewis at 6'9", 235, but challenged a little bit to go out on the perimeter and guard. And Mitch Henderson saw the matchup that he liked, and he just went with it.
Amir Bell, his first 13 games of the year were all single-digit games. 11 were 5 points or fewer. And now his last 12 games, shooting 58%. Amir Bell's been terrific of late.
And, Matt, it's hard to help because they have such good perimeter three-point shooters. That's why it was, in essence, a one-on-one isolation for him, because you see Weiss in that left corner right there. You're talking about a guy, Spencer Weiss, that's 37% from behind the three-point line, so you can't come off of him to help on that dribble drive.
Well, we have seen full court passes. We saw it with Northwestern the other night.
Threw that pass, absolutely. But time for a catch and a quick turn and shot. You can't catch and pass this thing.
They've got some bigs. 6'9", Chris Lewis, Seth Towns, 6'7".
Taphorn's pass to Pardon. I'm not sure Tom Brady could have made that pass. I mean, it was like, and I'm serious with a basketball. I'm not sure Tom could have made it with a basketball. But that was a great pass, and that's the first thing that has to happen right here.
Robert Baker, he's 6'10". He's going to inbound. Pete Miller defending the inbound. 1.1 to go. Baker runs the inbound. Did he step over the line? 5-second violation. He ran from one end of the baseline to the other.
And you saw what Amaker tried to do. He tried to put a guy to screen on the ball to clear a passing lane.
That is the 18th turnover for Harvard. That has been one of the big stories tonight. Inbound, and that'll be a quick foul from Towns. Fouling Stevens.
What a gutty performance by a very young Harvard team. So as we go to the replay, let's keep an eye on the official handing the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4. He did. He stroked off 5. I thought it might have been a little quick.
Might have been a quick count, but it was the 5.
If you're watching his hand, counting him off.
In real time, that might have been 4 seconds.
That's a good 3.5 right there, wasn't it?
And now Miles Stevens is going to be at the free throw line. Miles Stevens was at the free throw line back in Cambridge when he missed the free throw. Again, look at the clock here. They're looking to see how much time's left on the clock when the foul was called.
But you know what? This game, barring a miracle, is over right here. But I'll tell you what, Tommy Amaker's young guys, a marvelous job. And what can you say about Princeton? Undefeated in the league, them and Vermont possibly. Well, Vermont's done it, but can Princeton get one more tomorrow to finish this season undefeated?
Princeton is 12-0 in league play. No team in the history of the Ivy League has started 12-0 without finishing 14-0. Princeton is the 14th Ivy League team to start 12-0 and can become the 14th team to finish 14-0. They got to win this one here tonight, and it looks like they're going to. They're still talking about the tap here, the foul, the time.
Matt, I think when you look back on this game, Stephen Cook was just superb throughout the game. And what really hurt Harvard was how many times they turned the ball over. 12 in the first half, a little better in the second half. That's how they were able to make a comeback.
We're showing them the replays here. And again, they could put 0.8, 0.9. I mean, it was a quick foul when the arms are raised. I'm going to show it again here. The clock started late as well.
So you know what they'll do? They'll manually, with the stopwatch, try to see exactly where it was. So we're helping them with at the table with the monitor. Yeah.
No replay system in Ivy League schools, so they're counting on our cameras and our replays to help them make sure they get this clock correct.
And one of the other reasons Harvard was here at the end was how well they shot the ball. 13 made threes out of 28 field goal attempts. And the first game between these two, a defensive struggle. Neither team shot well from the field, from the line, or from the free throw line. The exact opposite today, as we see they put up 0.8 on the clock.
And Harvard, it looks like a timeout. 0.8 on the clock.
So we should have a one-on-one right here.
And Miles Stevens at the line. He was at the line the last time these two teams met in Cambridge. Made a bucket. It was an and one. Missed the free throw to tie. And it was Stephen Cook who corralled the rebound. And he's also there on the line.
You know what, Matt? From that exact spot right there. He was on the left side of the lane, obviously in the second lane spot. But
that makes it a three-point game, and if you were Harvard, you almost rather he missed the first, make the second. But
yeah, exactly. That's wishful thinking.
But it being
right could be game, set, match right here.
It being a one-and-one, and that's it.
Timeout, Harvard.
And it's now a 4-point game. Fans booing the Harvard timeout here, but that will wrap it up essentially, barring some unforeseen miracle. Princeton with a 4-point lead with 0.8 left, and Harvard will inbound. So Princeton moving on from this game. Again, they're going to have Dartmouth coming up tomorrow to try and finish off a 14-0 regular season in conference play. And that means they are already the 1 seed. They'll have an unbeaten season, but they still have work to do.
They absolutely do. And you know these three senior starters that they have out there with Weiss and Cook and Miller, that they want to finish their season with an undefeated season in the Ivy. You know, they have the 1 seed already, but you know what, Matt? They're chasing history. One of, 14 teams in this league that have gone undefeated regular season. And I like Tommy Amaker's timeout right here. Still a teaching moment with a really young basketball team. What a job he's done right there, Mitch Henderson. And Matt, he lost 2 of his better players coming into the season. Hans Brace was a big guy that he had to completely change his style of play after 5 games when he went out for the year.
Yeah, Hans Brace is on the bench there. He says he's going to transfer after he graduates and play 1 more year after he rehabs again from his second ACL to the same right knee. Henry Caruso, they also lost him to a toe injury. This is a Princeton team, and again, they've withstood injuries, and they've won a variety of ways. This will be a tested, undefeated team, perhaps, if they beat Dartmouth going into conference tournament. And Johnson misses that one. It will not count anyway. Would not have counted. Princeton picks up win number 20 on the season. Win number 13 in conference play. They are 13-0. 1 more to go coming up tomorrow against Dartmouth to become the 14th Ivy League team to finish 14-0. A perfect regular season in conference play.
I know one thing, Matt. If either of these teams are in the NCAA tournament, both of these teams can win games.
And you're looking at Stephen Cook, who had 30 points in this game, tying his career high. It came down to the final seconds, just like the first matchup. This one, Amir Bell with the eventual game winner. For Dino Gaudio and our entire crew, I'm Matt Schick. Good night from Jadwin Gym.